Breakfast through till 9 o'clock. This time tomorrow, people in Birmingham will have the chance to vote on whether they want an elected mayor for the city. But if recent polls are anything to go by, there's still something of a lack of enthusiasm for the mayoral referendum. BBC WM reporter Natalie Livingston has been comparing the popularity of the 4 mayoral candidates with the coaches on BBC One's The Voice to see just how much we know about the referendum.
Who are these lot? Do you recognise them?
I recognise Tom Jones. I've seen him, and her, no.
What about any of these lot?
I think I've seen him before. Liam, yes. It's something to do with politics round the area, or my area, which is Selly Oak, but the others, no.
Well, these are the candidates, potential candidates for Birmingham's elected mayor, should we decide we want one. Who are these guys? Do you recognise them?
They're all from The Voice. Got the script. Obviously Jessie J, Tom Jones, will.i.am.
Have you seen any of these people before?
No. I sort of recognise his face, but I don't really know where from. Liam Byrne, I don't actually know who he is.
They're from the TV show The Voice, isn't it? Yeah, Tom Jones, will.i.am, don't know the other two.
What about these 4?
Nope, never seen them before.
Who are these guys? Do you recognise them?
All of them, yeah. Tom Jones, Jessie J, William I.M., whatever his name. Not sure of that lad's name. Danny somebody.
What about this lot?
Isella Stewart, Mr. Spent All the Money, Liam Byrne, I can't pronounce his name, Simon, and the Bulldog man. I don't know his name either, but I know who they are.
And what do they all have in common, do you think?
And are they all going for Birmingham Mayor? Yeah.
Where there's light to this hope. Now, of course, the candidates are kind of irrelevant now. These are people who've declared an interest. But if, like me, you live in Birmingham, you could be forgiven for not knowing that the referendum's happening. Nothing has dropped through my door in many, many weeks about it. We're joined now by the West Midlands Independent MEP Nikki Sinclaire, who thinks an elected mayor's a bad idea. And in the studio is Julia Higginbottom, who is leading the Yes campaign. Good morning to both of you.
Morning.
Good morning.
Julia, is there enough awareness of this referendum?
No, there isn't. We're not as sexy as The Voice. We don't get millions of people watching every Saturday night. Politics aren't on the forefront of everybody's minds, unfortunately, even though they should be, because it affects your day-to-day lives. It affects whether the dog muck gets picked up. It affects whether, your children are in a good school. It has a real effect on your day-to-day life, but it's not fun. It's not something that takes you away from your daily living. And we have a weak media here, and part of the reason we want an elected mayor is to raise the profile of the city, its leadership and its accountability.
Now, in terms of the No campaign, Nikki, it appears, according to the polls that have been conducted, to be struggling a little bit. Why do you think that might be?
Well, I don't think that's so. The Guardian ICM poll shows that 64% of people in the West Midlands, the Midlands, are opposed to the idea of mayor. And when I've been out campaigning, there's quite a strength of feeling on the streets. A, that they're annoyed that they don't know about the campaign or know enough about the campaign, and they don't understand that at a time of public service cutbacks, when nurseries are being closed down, the council people are being made redundant, ordinary workers, that they're going to employ another politician. This is a Tory idea, and when have Tory ideas been good for the working class people of Birmingham?
What do you make of that, Julia?
Well, as a Labour person myself, I have spent 18 months on this campaign rather than the last couple of weeks like Nikki has. She's coming to the party late with what I think are untruths. We're replacing the council leader. We're replacing the council leader and their office with the office of an elected mayor, so the costs won't go up. Okay, they haven't
That's
anywhere.
Not true, is it?
It is true. It's true. The Warwick Commission, Professor Wynne Grant, Professor Chris Game, Professor Colin Copus all say the same things.
You had professors saying the poll tax was a good thing. When has ever a politician cost the people less money? It's never happened in history. Politicians cost money.
Yeah, democracy costs money.
That's the fact of life. And look, while you're cutting back essential public services, we do not need another politician in Birmingham. We need the elected councillors who we have already to do their job that they're paid £17,000 a year for. They're not doing their job. We need to make sure that they do their job before we use any more politicians.
Nikki, is the theory not that a figurehead, an elected mayor in a big city, has a chance to beat at a few more doors and bring in more money to the city? Is that not the theory of having an elected mayor?
It didn't happen in Stoke, where it was an absolute disaster, and you've also got Doncaster now that is voting to get rid of their mayor. These do not work. They're an expensive waste of money at a time of public service cutbacks.
In fairness, it is interesting, isn't it, that one or two places have decided that the elected mayor has not worked for them.
Well, actually, only one place has decided that so far, out of the 14 that are in place. The rest are actually quite a success story. 9 out of 12 of those.
Well, Doncaster's not a success story, is it?
No, but they haven't voted against it yet. And actually, the first person elected to that post did a really good job. The fact that they've elected somebody else, well, that's their democratic choice, and it's a failure of the other parties to galvanise their support, a bit like in Bradford West. The electorate will sting you if you don't do your job. For me, it comes down to this: a critical, loud voice for Birmingham with potential to have a bit more vision. There are councillors, including Albert Bohr, who's likely to be the leader of the council, who know they are campaigning for this too, because they know the reality of trying to get the job done without the full set of a mandate, additional powers and clout at Westminster means that in their very, very good experience, the job can't be done as well unless you've got an elected mayor.
Nikki, do you think changes need to be made to the way that a city like Birmingham is governed?
Oh yes, undoubtedly, but this is not the way. This is not the way forward. Had the proposition on the table that a mayor would replace half the councillors that we have in Birmingham, there may be an argument for that. But basically, it's exactly the same amount of councillors plus one more politician, and it isn't just one more paid politician. It's all the entourage that goes with that. The advisors. We've had special advisors in the media. These are very expensive people. Expensive people that the taxpayers of Birmingham simply cannot afford.
Now, would we have an equivalent of a Team Boris or a Team Ken surrounding an elected mayor?
I don't think it'll be quite like that. I think the majority...
Why shouldn't Birmingham compete with London?
The majority...
Shouldn't Birmingham mayor have the same as the London mayor? Shouldn't it compete equally with London?
Because Birmingham needs Birmingham solutions. This is not about London, Manchester, Leeds or anywhere else. This is about Brummies taking control and starting a process, and there is nothing to stop...
Shouldn't a Birmingham mayor be equal to a London mayor? If there is a mayor, shouldn't it have the same resources?
No, it should probably have more than London, because it doesn't have the same problems as London.
So it's going to cost more money.
No, it isn't. There are other ways to do this. No, it won't.
I tell you what, we'll leave the debate just there, but thank you very much to both of you. It's very interesting that we're hearing the passions on both sides, which I don't necessarily think we've heard an awful lot during the course of this particular campaign. Our thanks to the West Midlands